Hey Xero community, this is Mike Mazer, CEO of Xero, and I'm super excited to tell you about the launch of Xero 3.0 available today in the App Store. And we thought it'd be appropriate to tell you about this in 0-degree weather coming at you from Montana. So if you see a little mist coming out of my mouth, you know why. So first off, for the 1.3 million of you that have already downloaded and love Xero, you may be asking, well, why are you changing it? It's a great question, but really it was informed by you guys. We heard from so many people about so many things they wanted in the new app, we felt compelled to deliver them to you. And this is the first step of us doing that. So what are the big updates? Well, number one, and a huge one, is support for multi-day fasts. We know a ton of you wanted that. The previous version of Xero was limited to 24 hours, and we're now delivering up to 5-day fasting, a big upgrade for many of you doing extended fasts. Second of all, we heard horror stories from a few of you, and we're sorry about this, that you lost your fasting data if you changed devices or you accidentally deleted the app. Well, now we've got cloud storage of all your fasting data. So as soon as you save a fast, start a fast, that's all saved securely in the cloud, so you can change devices at will. You have an account now, and you'll be able to retrieve that data seamlessly. And the third thing is more insights and statistics. We know a lot of you like to kind of geek out on how long you've been fasting, what your average fast lengths are, what kind of streak you're on. So you'll see lots more data, lots more charts, and the ability to track weight all in this new version of Xero. So we're really excited to bring this to you today. We're going to run through all the different parts of it now, and thank you for being a loyal Xero user. Okay, now we've got Xero 3.0 installed on our phone. If you don't have it yet, you can find it in the App Store by searching Xero Fasting. So let's tap on in and check out the experience. You'll notice off the bat, we just start out with some very lightweight, fun information about fasting. If people are new to fasting, this is kind of interesting stuff about how our ancestors went through periods of feast or famine. We think had some benefits to their health in certain regards. The fact that you're fasting while you're sleeping. So you're already building up some fasting hours as you sleep, which is kind of a nice benefit. And then we'll take you in to asking you some intentions around why you're here, why you're interested in fasting. So for myself, I like to manage weight using intermittent fasting. So I'll do a 16-hour fast often, almost on a daily basis. So weight management for me is one area, and then longer fasts, around cellular health is another reason. You enter these in now. We'll be using these in the future to make recommendations on different protocols. So we just ask that you enter them now, and we'll give those recommendations at a later date. And then we'll ask you to create an account. And really the big benefit of creating an account, and the reason we're asking you to do it, is so that we can save your fasting data. And we heard this loud and clear from users that in the old version of Xero, if they lost their phone or they deleted the app by mistake, they lose all their fasting history, which is, of course, terrible. So by creating an account, you'll be able to seamlessly store all of that data in our secure servers. And then if you change phones, you log back in, everything is right there where it should be. We save all your history. So you can use Facebook. I'm going to use email to create an account. And then we'll use Apple's handy password automator. And then we'll just ask for your name so we can personalize communications, get to know you a little bit better. And then we're into the heart of the experience, and we'll go through each part step by step. You'll notice our little character Celine here. You'll see once in a while the little cellular character welcoming you to Xero, and she'll be there along the way to kind of give you reminders and tips, and we'll get into that next. So here we are on the fast screen. This is where you'll pick the particular fasting type for your upcoming next fast based on your personal goals and situation. Before we go through this, I just want to direct you to the bottom of the screen where we have a new navigation bar. You'll see timer, fast history, and learn. This navigation really makes it much easier to navigate and traverse the app than before, where you might have found yourself in different dark corners. This lets us add more functionality, but makes it easier to get around. And so on the fasting screen, you'll see some familiar fasting types. If you've used Xero in the past, we've had the circadian rhythm and the 16/8, but we've added some new variants that were requested by folks who like to sort of fine tune their fasting protocols. So we have the 18/6, the 20-hour fast, the 24 intermittent fast. This is otherwise known as the OMAD, or 1 meal a day type of fast, where you constrain your eating window into 4 or less hours. Many people just eat dinner in this type of fasting. We've added that for this new version. a 36-hour fast, which some people call a monk's fast. People do this a lot of times they start on a Sunday evening and they end on a Tuesday morning, getting a little bit deeper into cellular cleansing benefits of autophagy and ketosis. And then we've maintained a create your own, kind of a roll your own custom fast, but we've upped the time from a max of 24 hours to 5 days, which was another highly requested feature. And why don't we get into that now? It's already set for 5 days, and let's see the new timer screen. And so here we are at the new timer screen, what many consider to be the business end of Xero, if you will, where people focus a lot of their daily activity in Xero. We added something to show how many people in the community are fasting with you right now. This number will go up dramatically from what you're seeing, 373 when we launched the app, and we have tens of thousands of people with you right now. But the key is here, it's really just an element to say you're not alone in your fasting journey. There's other people doing this with you. And as we progress Xero, we think other social touch points is something that we're going to delve into. But for now, this is just to show that you're in league with other fasters. At the top of the screen, you see the length of the fast, 120 hours or 5 days. And then you see our new timer design. So this is a circular design. And in this case, we're doing a 5-day fast. Each one of those arcs, each one of those segments represents a day. So if I was in a single day fast, this would be just one solid circle, but I'm in a multi-day fast, so we kind of demonstrate or illustrate that you are in these individual days. And then you see inside the circle all the relevant bits of data, how far from a percentage standpoint you're in, time you're in, remaining, etc. So we're combining a lot of data that we kind of segmented in the older version of Xero all into one view. Now, to get a sense of how this timer progresses, let's adjust my start time. Let's say I forgot to start my fasting timer for this 5-day fast. So if I look at started fasting and tap that, I can then choose to amend my start time. So I'll say, oh, we actually started this on Monday about 9 a.m. And then we will see the timer change. And so you can get a sense of what progress looks like in the new Xero timer. And then of course we show you what the end time would be. Saturday at 9 a.m. would be when my next meal would be. So that's the timer screen. Big changes from the last version of Xero. And something else we've done in the post-fast experience, if I tap end fast early, of course I'm not done yet, Celine comes up and says, you're not over yet, but of course I'm going to break it early. And really this screen is here just so if you make a mistake and you tap that button, you don't lose your fast. So I'll tap break fast early. And now we're at the fast history or fast summary screen with some new logging functionality. So at the top, you see the summary, 59 hours. You see that in the gray box against the goal time, which is 120 hours. I can share it out now. So if I tap share, I can select my social outlet of choice. I'll choose Twitter. Pre-populates the text and lets me get some cred from my friends. I'm going to cancel that since I didn't actually do this fast. Delete. And now you can edit the start time, the end time. But some of the new functionality here is how did it feel? So you can add an emotion, or you can type in any kind of text you want, how you felt that day, maybe you were traveling, whatever else. I'll type in, I caved early, I couldn't handle it, and then that is saved. If I tap save, and now that is saved again in the cloud in my history tab. We'll go there in a minute. And you also now are shown back to the timer screen. I can start another fast. I can go back to the fasting tab, select a different one. And you'll also see a new element between fasts, this thing in the timer called time since last fast. Some call this a feeding window, an eating window. Not everyone tracks their feeding or eating windows, so we just left it a little bit more generic, time since last fast. This just gives you an indication that you're not in a fasted state and for how long you haven't been. So now if I move over on that bottom navigation over to history, this is another new area of the app I'll start with stats. So the stats is really the heartbeat of your fasting journey. So you can see kind of going from top to bottom, left to right. I've completed 39 fasts. We have the 7 fast average, not to be confused with 7-day average. So this is over my last 7 fasts, what was my average length. My longest fast, this is all time. We have this notion now of streaks, both your all-time streaks and current streak. Basically, a streak is calculated from the end of your last fast to your next fast, having no more than 24 hours between. So if you're within 24 hours between fasts, your streak continues. If you're longer than 24 hours, your streak is broken. And we've also added the ability to track your weight via Apple Health. So now if you're using a scale or any other application that connects to Apple Health, all that weight data can be brought into Xero, or you can enter your weight inside Xero manually, and that will then propagate back into Apple Health. So I've already connected to Apple Health on this account, so I'll just tap connect and it will ask me to weigh in. If you didn't already have Apple Health connected, it would bring up Apple's dialog box. You would enable the permissions to read and write your data, and it's done. You're connected. So I'm creating a weight log for today. This is a manual weight log. I actually tipped the scales this morning at 209 on my journey to 200. I'm hoping to get to in a month or two. So I'll save that. Now it's saved here, and it will be in the chart below that I'll show you in a second. We've updated the charting on Xero 3.0. So in prior versions of Xero, you had this 7-fast chart, but the goal was locked at whatever your latest fast was, which didn't make sense because maybe on Monday you did a 18-hour fast, maybe today you did a 13-hour fast. It just didn't make sense to have one locked goal, so we created dynamic goals. For example, if you look at January 17th in my chart, you'll see that my reached goal in the green was 19 hours, but my goal was 18, so I surpassed my goal. That's why it's green. On January 30th, that example we just gave around a 5-day fast, I ended it for this demonstration at 60 hours. So you can see I didn't reach the goal. So every fast will have its own goal shown on this chart. And if you want to expand and see your entire fasting history charted, you just tap those double arrows in the right-hand corner of recent fasts, and you'll get a really beautiful landscape view of your entire fasting history. And then on to weight, we also have a weight chart you can see here. So it shows my weight that I just entered in today. The dashed line between shows that those days didn't have weigh-ins, so it just draws a straight line between. And just like in the fasting history chart, you can also expand this out and get a beautiful landscape view of all your weight history. So that is the stats area of the history tab. Now we'll go into the journey area, and this is really a longer view of your fasting history. And it also has the ability to go in and edit any changes that you want to make down the line, or if you forgot to log a fast, whatnot. So you see I logged in 209 today, so it shows all my weight logins here. You can see on January 30th, I had this long five-day fast. I wrote a note in there. I can change that note. I can change the start and end time, or I can just delete this fast because it wasn't really a true fast. And there it is gone from my history. And actually the circadian rhythm fast, which I actually did today, is shown appropriately. That is the journey tab, lots of control, and you see your entire fast history here. The neat thing is that when you upgrade from Xero 2.0 to 3.0, all of your existing fasting history will be brought into this view, and then again saved in the cloud, so you don't have to worry about losing it or backing it up all the time in the future. So that's the Journey tab within History. And finally, over on the Learn tab, again, we get a lot of feedback that people love the studies, the articles, the videos that we put out from experts. I sat down with Rhonda Patrick, who's on our advisory board, to answer your Q&A. So we put a lot of time into sourcing this content and vetting it, making sure it makes sense and isn't hearsay or a lot of the kind of topic of the day stuff that you see around fasting. These are a little more meaty, a little more vetted than what you might find just out in the wild on the web. So we update these regularly, and we think that you'll enjoy these to inform your fasting journey. And as the science evolves, we'll continue updating this as well. So last but not least is where you control all of the sort of the account and detail information, notifications, etc. So in settings, which is that cog icon I just tapped, within the history tab, you can change the timer direction. You can toggle that to count up or down depending on your personal preference. Different weight units. We have a whole slew of notifications we've added. Weigh-in notifications when you've reached your goal so you can end your fast or keep going. And other little additions like when you're halfway through or when you're in your last hour, a lot of people kind of like to plan for that, but they're not paying attention. So these are just some nice touches to let you know when your fast is about to start or whatever progress you want to know about. And then some other things in here, like being able to export your data. We have a gender setting. In the future, we plan on giving potentially recommendations related to gender that we think are relevant. And then you've got other support in terms of service, things like that. So that's the settings area. You know, not the most glamorous part of the app, but notifications are pretty cool and just personalizing it to your own taste. So that is the overview of Xero. We hope that you're going to love this new version. We've spent many months building it. We've had thousands of beta testers on it. We, of course, this is the next version of Xero. It's not the last version of Xero. So we really rely on your feedback to make Xero as good as it can be, and we're always looking to improve it. So please let us know what you think. You can find us on Twitter at XeroFasting, or you can email us at support@xerofasting.com. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it, and happy fasting.